So, speaking of the core tenets that we just discussed of storytelling, communication, you recently told me that you took a class on creativity.
Right.
I'm curious if you had any insights or feedback from that.
I do. It was a great class. I took it on Coursera with an instructor that I interviewed in the podcast. So it was great. Cyndi Burnett. I took her class on creativity. And one of the things that really stuck out for me that I didn't really truly understand, but it's going to change my thinking about creativity, is in the realm of divergent thinking and convergent thinking, which I knew about, and a lot of people do. If divergent thinking is where you're trying to get all the different ideas, whatever they are, just collect ideas and thoughts, and then you want to converge. Convergent thinking is to try to select out and whittle down um, the ideas to the best one. I kind of understood that before I took the class, divergent thinking and convergent thinking. But what I learned in the class, which is I'm going to remember forever, is that there's a true discipline to doing both of those kinds of thinking, especially if you're running, say, a session, idea collecting session, a brainstorming session. The discipline of divergent thinking when you're soliciting all these ideas from people is to defer all judgment. It's like, okay, why is that? And they went into talking about why. Because if you're in a group, let's say you're leading a session, you're a brainstorming session, and you're getting all these ideas, and you get an idea for the board, and it's really good, and you say, "Wow, that's a good idea," even though it's positive, you're making a judgment, and now people dynamics, the way people think in groups, things are going to change. Um, some people now are going to want to say do better than that. I outdo that idea. Other people are going to try to stay away from, say, the opposite of that idea, or they might not be able to come up with something as good as that. So the idea of deferring judgment is super important. You could even say it if you don't want to be, say, cold about it. You can say, listen, the key here is I am just going to write down your ideas and no judgment at all. We'll get to them later and allow people to say whatever they want in the divergent thinking phase. Then the discipline in the convergent phase is to really be affirmative with everything you're looking at, as opposed, you have to look at these ideas and say, what is good about this idea before you start throwing them out. You're eventually going to start taking them out, but you have to have the discipline before you just start flinging them away to say, what's good about this idea? And you have to be very disciplined about that. So I found that fascinating that there's a true discipline that you have to work at in a divergent thinking mode and a true discipline in a convergent mode to get the most out of those two types of thinking.